Dad, do I look different to you?
Yes, you're so short.
Oh, that's right. There's two of us now.
This is my sister, Sarah.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Dave, owner of Future Past Vintage Collectibles, here with my daughter Rachel,
Hello.
as we are every week.
Yes.
And what do we do here?
Well, if you're new to this channel, we do a lot of different stuff. We do unboxings. We talk about collections that we just bought. We show you guys a bunch of different books that you probably don't see anywhere else.
Yeah.
And we talk about a lot of different things in the comic world, like purchasing, buying things online, how to find good deals, how to figure out if things are priced right, all of the above.
Cleaning, pressing, just
all
tips,
of it.
Tips that you can use. We just share our knowledge as being part of the comic community. So
Yes.
we really enjoy this. We've been doing it for a little bit. It's been over a year.
We're doing it.
Yeah, so that we've been on this channel and we've been doing this for a couple years together. So I'm going to start off right away with showing something that I bet no one else has ever shown, and there's a really good reason for that, because they're not comic books. However, I did pick up some Iron Maiden stuff. So this right here is a fanzine from 1981. I actually got this from the original owner, bought this new, and this is the first international fanzine. Check it out. Eddie
It's
here.
like the nicest fanzine I've ever seen. Every fanzine I've ever seen is like printed from a printer at someone's house.
I still think this is a do-it-yourself project.
It's just very nice.
Yeah, but they're all glossy.
Yeah, it looks brand new too. They
Yeah,
kept really
the
good
condition
care
of
it.
these. So this is the first one, came out in 1981, and then I got a bunch of them. I think he was missing two. Friend of mine actually that I've known for since I was a kid, since I was like 12. I got these from. These are really cool. Great art.
Oh no, they're not in order.
Yeah, I really have not gone through these page by page yet. I will. That's pretty cool. And then we got the Trooper. Hear that song in my head right now. And then a few more. So we got a ton of them. Super glad to get these. They actually weren't cheap. And then I got this. I had asked, and what this is a press kit. This is what record distributors would give the retailers to entice them to carry that album to sell it. So, yeah, that is the cover from Iron Maiden's Number of the Beast, which I bought the day it came out. And sick art on that.
666.
The number of the beast. And this is pretty cool. So there's some really good swag in here that you usually get in press kits, like the sticker's still intact. And there's glossies of the band, and they're not signed. I mean, these went to,
Like the
hundreds
headshots or
of different
whatever.
record stores. It's got some of that. Got some letters and contracts. Like here's a touring schedule, and this is all from 1981 as well. Like there's a touring schedule, and it talks about the tour, which was a phenomenal tour for them. My favorite part of this whole thing is this, in this print of Eddie. And it has a news article on the back. So anyway, I love stuff like this. I wish the outer case was a little nicer, but I ended up having to pay separate for this, and I did. Now,
Worth it.
why? Do I want to sell this one day? I probably will, but I'm a huge Iron Maiden fan, and I know there's a lot of them, and I like this stuff. So he was done with it. I'm not.
You just got started. So if you are new, you may not know that we do claim sales every single Monday over on Instagram from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just wanted to mention that here. You can pop on over there, take a look at some of the stuff we sell. And we always do giveaways over there too. It's really fun.
We do a lot of giveaways, and the claim sale is going phenomenal, and it's just growing by leaps and bounds. So you definitally want to check it out. People
All
have
of our
fun
best
on it.
deals are over there. So
We've got our whole family involved right now. A house full of people talking about this. I want to show some comic books real quick. And this came from our last claim sale. Someone asked us if we had any Captain Victories.
Oh, yeah.
And we said yes. Rachel immediately goes, her brain kicked in and said, I just looked at some of
literally
those.
just got some in, which is funny.
So here you go.
It's Icarus.
It's not Icarus,
It's
but
not.
it is Jack Kirby, and it's not.
It's because he's got the square face. It's the Jack Kirby square face syndrome, I think.
I want to show you something about this comic book real quick. So these came out. Now this is Jack Kirby working for Pacific Comics, okay, independent label, and this is late in his career. Here's what's cool about these books, that if you're not familiar with this book, that you don't know. So I have several sets of this, and from original owner collections. Cover's okay, not Jack Kirby's best, but look at this back cover. Now that's the Jack Kirby I know and love. The interior of this is better, if you ask me, than the cover. I thought the cover was over-inked.
Does Kirby do the inner artwork too?
Kirby did 100% of everything in this.
I was like, he had a square head in there too.
Except for, of course, except for coloring. He didn't do the coloring.
He just did the inking.
But I want to show the center splash real quick because it's worth showing. Because Jack Kirby just being Jack Kirby. Check this out. So
that's crazy.
Incredible interiors on these, and Jack Kirby, when not held down, when Coletta wasn't doing his inking, when he could really get the detail that he wanted, did great. Now he's never been known as a fantastic writer, and he did this whole thing. This was his passion project, but yeah. So the covers are not great on these, in my opinion, but I do like Kirby's art, so I like them anyway. But I just don't think that they stand out. I love the big feet on this one. And I forgot to say what year. 1982. Here's another copy. This is number 6. Once again, that's a pretty cool front cover. The red really helps it pop. This back cover is really cool, though. The back covers on these are great.
This is probably the best cover.
We got
families in town, so if you hear babies crying.
Yeah, there's going to be noises.
We got family here.
We got family all over the place, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay.
I know, so if you hear babies crying, it's because baby's crying.
And there's another one. So, yeah, Captain Victory. I wouldn't say these are incredibly expensive. They're nice. It's nice if you're a Kirby fan to have a set of these, especially if you like the inside of comic books. I'm really a cover guy, but the more I'm working with comic books in this iteration of me doing it for a living, I'm really digging interior art, and I'm really liking.
When you're cleaning and pressing, I know that you
have
to
even when I'm grading and I go through and look, I'm always catching some artists that I really appreciate their interiors. I want to talk real quick about pricing. Rachel and I want to have some chats. I find it interesting. I've been buying comic books for years, and I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars. I always find it really interesting when a YouTube channel says, I spent $300 at a convention. I spend $300 on comics before I wake up. I mean, I will go to a convention and spend $5,000. So buying comic books, it really is about how much money you have, what you're looking for, and what kind of deal you can get. Now, here's the thing about deals. To me, deals are not all about money. Deals can sometimes be, I overspent on a comic book, but got the grade that not only I wanted, but that's very tough to get. Mm-hmm. How do I know I overspent? Because no one is spending that much for that book. Have I done that? More times than I can count. I'll pay double or triple what the last one sold in a lower grade if I find a 9.6 of something or a near mint plus when the market's flooded with 8.0s or 8.5s. Mm-hmm. And I'm really talking about Bronze Age, guys, and I'm talking about Silver and Bronze Age going up to early Copper. The prices tend to be overpriced. Everywhere you look tends to be overpriced. There are sellers that do price fairly, and what would make me feel like a price is fair? Okay, sometimes it's the last issue sold. If only one issue of something's been sold at a price and no other copies have sold for years, you can derive some things from that. I've seen things that sold for $40 3 years ago go for $400 now, with no sales in between. And that's because a lot of sales are not tracked, and a lot. I'm going to tell you, almost every book here behind me was not a track sale. It was not a track sale. These books only exist in the census, but they've never been sold.
Well, and by tracked, it's like you can't see it on eBay sold, and you won't find it on GPA or on Go Collect. You won't find the sales of a lot of things. So you don't on those softwares.
You will never know what someone pays for books unless they tell you.
Or right? Unless you can see it on the software, which it may be skewed.
Does that matter to you? It does if you're trying to buy that same book. So sometimes someone will see that someone just bought a copy of something for $70, but somebody wants $110 for that. Was that $70 in an auction? Did it go off at 1:30 a.m. on eBay? There's so many variables that just because one comic sold for a low amount does not mean that's the new price. It means one person might have got a screaming deal. Sometimes the information's wrong. It's just wrong.
Yep.
They have the wrong. They think something was slabbed and it wasn't, and it pulls the whole index down. If you're looking at Go Collect or so many different websites.
Yeah, Cover Price has been wrong a lot. We've had to tell them, hey, you got to fix this. The slab didn't sell for $2.
We've actually had to reach out to them. But in order to get a fair price, the number one thing, in my opinion and my experience, is knowing what you're buying. I mean, I'll give you an example. House of Secrets. I can go through House of Secrets and I can tell you that issue to issue, they all have a different price.
Yeah.
If let's say I'm looking at all Near Mint Pluses for the entire run. You could have...
Good luck, first of all.
I actually don't think that exists.
I was like, I don't know if that's real.
I don't even think that exists. 996, because 94 is the highest grade in some of those. But if you did, and you were looking at them, you would find that one is worth 8 times more than the next one, and it's not of a key event. It is the artist, right? And it's the scarcity of that book, and it's also supply and demand being in full effect. There are more people that want those than there are copies for sale. Another aspect of that, and if you can use that model with anything.
Literally. And per grade, too. So it's like we were talking about Amazing Spider-Man 300.
Each grade is its own store.
Yeah.
It's like its own lane.
Amazing Spider-Man 300 newsstand, 9.2 and a 9.4 are different stories.
Yeah, well, that particular book in 9.8 goes for bank and newsstand, which I think's a bit silly, but that's what the market's paying for it.
People want that.
Because there was as many non-newsstand. Sometimes I think that the directs should be worth more because there was actually less of them. But that book is so popular, and people have trained their brain to look for newsstands in the hope that it would increase value, right? I just want you to know, I used to hate newsstands, and I used to go to my local comic store, and when I was buying back issues, if it was a newsstand, I wouldn't buy it.
I just like newsstands because it means there could be a Mark Jewelers in there, and I get excited about that.
Yeah, I like the treasure hunt.
I like that. I don't really care about the UPC code, but...
Yeah, so there's all these nuances to understand what something's worth. If you really want a comic, and you're dying to get that comic, and you're just looking for the best price, it takes a lot of work. I mean, and what happens is a lot of collectors, and I've been here, I just want it, and this is the copy, and I'm going to buy it. It's totally,
I'm never going to see this again. I need it right now.
Totally fear of missing out, and then later on you're like, no, I kind of want to upgrade it. Or if you bought it raw and you didn't get it from someone that you know and you're not that good at grading, which is possible because grading is really tough. I mean, and I'll go back to that in a second, but let's just say that you go to sell it and you can't make your money back. That is the experience for most people.
Yes.
I buy comics, and when I sell them, I don't get my money back.
Especially if you're buying it around a spec. We've talked about that. We have videos about that. About buying something around a spec and then not getting our money back for that because that's not...
That has been as old as time before the MCU. People were doing that, people were doing that when Iron Man #1, there was all these #1s that came out from Marvel in 1968. Submariner #1, Submariner Iron Man #1, Iron Man #1, Hulk 102. So there's all these new series that ran off, and it really started the Bronze Age, just kicked it into gear. People were buying 5 and 10 copies of them back then. But bags and boards weren't as prevalent, almost non-existent, and those copies just didn't span the test of time in terms of 10 years later were they still in great grades. People used to buy a lot of comics back then, by the way, through the mail. Even from a dealer, it often didn't say what grade it was. It said Iron Man #1, $3.
Well, the grades didn't really exist back then, so no one really cared that much about it.
You're making a great point. Grades existed, but
there's
they were...
only the 3 grades, right?
Totally different. So, yeah, grading has changed, slabbing has changed, and slab prices, when CGC got some traction and people started using them, prices exploded. And if you weren't around at the time, and I was, you may not know that was the vehicle that made it possible for comics to get more than $5,000 or $10,000.
It had the stamp of this is a high grade.
Right. It gave people an assurity of not only the grade, but the fact that book did not have restoration. And restoration became so popular in the early 70s, you wouldn't believe how many restored comic books are floating out there. That's why grading's tough. There's a lot to know, and it takes a lot of experience. It's worth the effort to continue to learn. It's worth the effort to listen to people, but never think that grading's not the most important thing. It is by far the most important thing. Even if you're not a grade collector, everyone buys based on the grade. So if it's
as far as value goes, like you're going to spend
I'm just
more
talking
or
about
less or whatever.
I'm buying these funny books. I'm buying a bunch of comic books. I'd like my family to be able to sell them. I'd like to be able to sell them when I retire, maybe. Not because I'm trying to get rich on comics, but because I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on an item that is in demand. So there's nothing worse than thinking I have 100 copies of Spider-Man #1, Todd McFarlane, that I bought and when they came out. And they're all green, but they're all in bags. And next thing you know, they got water on them in your garage, whatever. They're all ruined. It makes a difference. You turn $150 each book, if it got pressed and cleaned and slabbed, into a $5 or $10 book in some box somewhere. So if you don't know how to take care of a book, or you're not concerned about the grade, you're not going to get as much money. And what sells the most are high-grade books. It doesn't matter what era, it doesn't matter what genre. High grade always sells easier than low grade. But it's flexibility on pricing that really makes that happen. So a lot of people get a price stuck in their head. Like, I think this book should sell for $300. Well, and I just experienced this. I got to tell you the story. I didn't tell you. I went to a comic book store in Portland, and I've seen this vendor at different shows, and they have a huge store in Portland. So I walk in immediately, Hulk #1, Amazing Fantasy 15. They had all these huge keys. Everything was at least 30% overpriced. They had a Captain America Annual #7, I think, the one with the Mike Zeck cover that looks like the other Captain Americas I like with Mike Zeck. Mm-hmm. So I saw that annual, and I look it up. Last one sold for $110. That's kind of the going rate right now. The price was $250. Here's what I do. I'm in, like, what's the 90-day average? What's the 90-day average? And I can look and I can find that out. $140 or whatever it was. I'm in. I'll pay what other people are paying. We're too far apart at that point for me to even ask for any money off, because I'm not going to ask somebody to go down 40% on a book. So it really stopped me from buying things. I mean, everything was so overpriced that the negotiation that would have ensued doesn't get me anywhere near to what they're selling for. So it just stops me from buying. There were some other books there I would have been interested in if they weren't incredibly overpriced. So sometimes, and I know you guys will relate with this, you go to a convention or something, you'll see books on the wall, like, are you just putting that there for show? Because that price is crazy. Right?
Yeah, I think that is kind of like the convention bug. It's like, what can
it's
I put
not
up
just
here
conventions.
that's just like
Stores are like that.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm a comic dealer. Pricing's a big part of what we do. We spend a lot of our week pricing. We sell out on our live sales. We sell over 80% of the stock every time. Whatever we don't sell, we kind of learn from that and just don't offer it, because it's not because people think our prices are unfair. It's because they're not interested. It really is an education. Give you an example. We can sell Weird War Tales in any condition, any number, it's going to sell. But I'm here to tell you, I would not buy any copy of that. You're looking for the best covers. Mm-hmm. In the long run, they're not all going to be desirable. What's going to be desirable are the best Kubert covers, or some of just the themes, like the orange one we did, and you can put a picture of that with the skull in the sky and the airplane.
Any skull Weird War Tales, people are going to want that because it's cool.
Or so, and I have some I'm going to show in a minute. I just bought, kind of going the other way. I went to a comic book store when I was in Las Vegas, and I'm going to give a shout out right here to where I went. This guy's awesome. He does some other stuff, but he has a comic book store inside an antique mall.
Oh, okay.
Which is pretty common. A lot of people do that.
I've been to some of those before.
He's got a pretty big one. He's got 2 sections.
Oh, nice. Okay.
What I liked about his store, what I really liked, is his selection. He had the eras that I look for, and he had like detectives, old, 60s and 70s detectives. He had House of Mystery, House of Secret. He had a lot of stuff. Just not necessarily in the grade that I want.
Yeah, which is fair if it's in like an antique mall where people are touching them.
And I was in a hurry. I was actually going to my brother's wedding.
You went to a comic book store before?
Well, so I was in the neighborhood, and I mapped it, and my brother's the one that said, man, you got to check this guy out. So I was in the neighborhood, and I just stopped by there, and it really wasn't a neighborhood, but I wasn't late. I'll just have everyone know I was not late. It was only a rehearsal anyway, so hey. And I did great. So I best manned perfect. So I stopped there and chatted with this guy, and he recognized me from our channel, and we talked for a while, and I bought some books. I want to show them to you.
They're really cool.
This is a good example of, like, there was a lot of Weird War Tales. This is Weird War Tales number 4. If you collect Weird War Tales, this is a must-own book, which I did not own. So he graded this very fine. This is from 1972.
Oh my god.
I had it.
I thought it was going to fall.
And I saw something.
I haven't graded it. There's like a spine tick. It's kind of dirty.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, I can improve this slightly.
I don't know if it's very fine. It seems, well, it's got a color breaking corner.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think he was accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, I respected his grading after I looked at it. You can see the corner. There you go. That's it. That makes it...
it's at least a 9.0. And then there's other stuff that makes it less.
If this was otherwise a gem mint 10.0 and that was there, it is now a 9.0. You might be able to squeeze a 9.2 because of the lack of anything else wrong, but that's not the case here.
Yeah, there's other stuff wrong. But...
So in other words, this isn't a super high grade copy, but his price was right. His price was with the market where it should be. It wasn't overpriced. He gave me a small discount on a large purchase. I think I spent a couple $100 in there. I wasn't trying to beat him up on anything. It's nice to give people business that have good books.
Well, and you saw books you liked, which is like that you wanted to buy, which in a place like that, I feel is surprising.
Well, he was working a one-day show as well, so he had a lot of inventory that wasn't there.
Oh, so I'm sure there's a lot better stuff that he could have gotten to.
So I do think that there's opportunities out there to get good books, and if they're in grade or not, like that's entry level to me for that book. The fact is, those are super hard to find in anything over 6570. Mm-hmm. They're really thick, and people read them.
Here's a fun one.
All right, so you can show that.
Okay.
I have a high grade copy of this. I think I have a 9.6 of this. So that's Brave and the Bold 108.
Sergeant Rock.
Swastika cover. But the only reason I bought this mid grade copy is because it has a Mark Jewelers insert in it.
I've never seen the black Mark Jewelers.
Yeah, so there are 3 or 4 different colors, and some people started saying, well, I think this one's rarer than that one, and I just didn't go down that rabbit hole yet.
I've just never seen it.
Yeah, there you go.
I've only ever seen the blue ones.
This costs $12.
That's not for Mark Jewelers?
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I could probably clean them. That's why I said, these are priced accurately.
Yeah. I wonder if this was from his personal collection.
And what's funny is we price like this.
Yeah. Was this from his personal collection?
I didn't ask him. I didn't ask him.
Like, how can you price it that low?
So here's a fantastic cover. And I'll give you guys the info on this.
People are going to be mad I'm not wearing gloves. My hands are clean.
Yeah, we wash our hands. 1972. This is number 3, right? Yeah, number 3.
Okay,
and this is a very fine minus.
I like that cover a lot.
The reason I'm buying these, anytime I can get them in this kind of grade, I do. It's a really well-presenting copy. But anyway, these are covers that I go after. There was a ton of covers in there I did not get because... That's not what I'm talking about.
Are these for your PC or are these for
I'll sell
potential
these.
sale at some point?
Eventually, I'll sell these.
He's got to look at them a little bit first.
Yeah. No,
Appreciate them.
So I was able to pick up this weird Western Tales, which I'm obsessed with and just love. Really nice copy, actually. This is a very fine minus. Yeah, a book like this cost me $27. I mean, it's got a little bit of wear. You can show it's got a little bit of wear in the sun. But I love these types of books, and I will buy.
Shiny.
I will buy them even at this grade at this point because they're so hard to find. In grade for a book like this, you can't find it over 6.0 really. People call everything very fine. If it's very good, it's very fine.
It's just so fine.
It's a fine book.
Oh, that's so funny.
And one more issue I picked up, and this, Rachel, this is one of my favorite covers, by the way. It's Joe Kubert, I think, or off the top of my head. Love this iconic cover, and you got to think this came out, I think, before Westworld and some of the other great movies with robots. But you got this soldier who's injured, but he's half robot, and the guy up there doesn't see that. And I just love this theme. So yeah, I'm really looking for a higher grade copy of this, and maybe I can press and clean this. I don't know. It doesn't look too tore up. It actually looks very nice. So. This is a book, if I could get it without color breaks in a 9.4, 9.6. 9.4 is okay. Bone white pages. So the interior in this is fantastic. Love Weird War Tales. I love all of these books from the early 70s from DC. Totally underrated. You don't want yours, sell them to me. And I find it interesting. Everyone keeps going after Thor. They keep going after Marvel. But the fact is, the gems are somewhere else. The stuff that really has a resale value. I've done very well on selling any horror category from the 70s. And things like Charlton's and other horrors are now starting to torque up because the 70s are becoming our golden age. It's like you go back 2 generations. Where are you at? In the 70s. 2 generations.
Doesn't that make you feel old? It sucks.
It doesn't make you feel old.
I am 31. I feel old every day when I wake up in the morning.
I have shoes older than you.
I know.
I actually don't. And then lastly,
This looks really nice.
this is a pretty high grade copy. I think he said this was a near mint, 1977, Brave and the Bold. Love, and it's got a Dead Man appearance. So I love stuff like this, and I'll pick it up anytime I can. So I think I paid for this book.
That looks like a near mint too. It looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a very nice copy. So I paid $10 for this. That's a really, and it could use a press, but it's so pretty. So this is PC worthy, actually.
I know you love Dead Man, so it makes sense.
So that's all the comics I have. Hey, we want to tell you guys something.
Dad, do I look different to you?
Yes, you're so short.
Oh, that's right. There's 2 of us now.
This is my sister, Sarah.
Hi.
So I want to introduce my other daughter, Sarah. Say hello to the world.
Hello, world.
She was in an intro long ago.
Yeah, she's been away and she's back. She wasn't in prison though. She was actually in Australia.
She was put away
Which
for
is
a long time.
a little like prison.
In Australia.
Well, it used to be a prison.
Yeah, it used to be exactly.
So, what the whole point is, these 2, my 2 beautiful daughters, are actually going to sell comic books on YouTube in a live stream soon. So we're going to let you guys know a couple weeks out. Wanted to introduce you. So these 2 are going to use completely different comic books out of our inventory. We're going to try to keep it pretty low price, but we have tons of comics.
It's going to be fast-paced. It's going to be fun. It's going to have a lot of new comics. And it's not going to have my dad. So that's
crazy.
It's crazy.
Who is your favorite comic book character?
I like Plop. Like anything in Plop. That's what I grew up with.
What?
I guess. Well, that's what I liked as a kid. That's the only
I
comic.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I like Plop.
Plop's awesome.
Plop's awesome. So that's my favorite.
It's like they're related.
So we have the world's largest Plop fan going to sell you comics.
Selling some Plop this upcoming couple weeks sometime.
Yeah, that's happening soon.
Follow us on Instagram if you want to go to our Monday live stream.
But follow us on Instagram no matter where you're going to
Follow
buy
us
books.
everywhere.
Follow us everywhere.
Follow us everywhere. And YouTube's where
Dude,
we're
well,
going to do
not
that
anywhere, not by my house
stuff. Don't follow us
or
on
where
our
I
street.
go. Don't follow me.
This is completely unhinged. Anyway, thanks for watching.
That's why I don't usually join the show. I'm only here for the live stream because I'm too fun.
Yep.
All right, guys. See ya.
Yeah.